Hi, everyone. It's Audrey Moore with the Audrey Helps Actors podcast, except this isn't an episode of Audrey Helps Actors yet. We have a brand new season coming to you with just a few weeks. But to tide you over from now, here is a sample of one of our sponsors' own podcasts, Casting Networks. How we roll. The guest is casting director Erica A. Hart, talking about how to get the perfect audition tape. Let's see how that happens. We'd all like to know. Have a listen to that. Get ready for Self-Tape May and look out for new episodes of Audrey Helps Actors starting the end of April. I'll hang out with you then. We're going to hang out together.
I'm casting director Erica A. Hart, and this is How We Roll.
When it comes to working in entertainment, there's a lot of hows, and they all boil down to how we navigate this wild industry. While how we follow our dreams is uncertain, how we roll along the way is in our hands. Welcome to How We Roll, a podcast for actors by Casting Networks. Hello, friends. Lately, I've been pondering, how can I craft the best self-tape audition possible? To answer this question and uncover an ultimate approach to self-tapes, I knew I had to call my kind friend who has made it her mission to uplift actors. And wow, did she come through on this topic. If you're like me, you're going to want to share this with every actor you know. Today's guest is casting director Erica A. Hart. Erica A. Hart fell in love with the arts growing up as a dancer in Washington, D.C. Her interest in casting peaked when she studied film and television at NYU. From there, she cut her teeth at ABC Primetime Casting and then moved into the world of independent casting. There, Erica has made a mark across mediums. Erica's TV and streaming credits include Netflix's Black Mirror and Survival of the Thickest, Max's A Black Lady Sketch Show, That Damn Michael Che, and The Girls on the Bus, and Queen Latifah's hit, The Equalizer on CBS. On the big screen, Erica has cast for films like We Strangers, VOA Family, The Surrogate, Lapsus, and Cupids. The beloved casting director has also lent her talents to Broadway shows like Chicken and Biscuits, Passover, Death of a Salesman, and Jaja's African Hair Braiding. Oh, and she's worked on music videos like for hers Oscar-winning song, Fight for You. Erica is an Artios Award winner, on the board of the Casting Society of America, a member of the Television Academy, and an all-around empowering educator at various colleges, universities, and workshops. To learn more, please visit heartcasting.com. You gotta have heart. Here's How We Roll with Self-Tapes, starring casting director Erica A. Hart. Today we have on an old pal of mine who is a beloved casting director of the stage and screen. She does it all. Welcome my incredible friend, Erica Hart.
Hello, RPP. How are you?
I am so pumped to talk to you, as I already told you multiple times. And I feel like I need to start just by congratulating you, not only on everything, but the Artios Awards more recently.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you produced and then you won. I was so happy to see you there shining.
Oh, thank you. No, it's definitely a labor of love to produce that show. It's me, Elizabeth Barra, Julie Tucker, and Portia Black in New York that are running the show. And, it's always beautiful to be in community with other casting folk and agents and managers. And you were there, sir.
Yes.
So it's always a joy to be around, love and community and colleagues and everything in between. And the icing on the cake is that I won that night too. So it was a beautiful
well deserved. The love that I felt in that room. I mean, I know over the years how much people love you and I love you, but do you feel all the love in this business that people have for you? Because people really love you. Your name is said and people are just beaming with joy.
Oh, that's very sweet. No, I think, the love goes all the ways. I think this business is a great business, but sometimes, things get a little tricky. And I think leading with kindness and leading with generosity can only go the right way. So
Mm.
it's just always lovely to see all of my colleagues shine. And it was amazing to see like the next generation do their thing. Like it was just a really great night to see the passing of the torch of this next generation come up. And I'm excited for all of my colleagues, regardless of the generation. But to see that was really awesome.
Let me tell y'all listening at home, Erica was not just cheering people on and producing the event, but she was recording people's speeches for them. She was just bopping up, doing all the things. I mean, you wear so many hats. So I guess before you got to wearing all these hats, for context, I'd love to start with maybe you did it as a child growing up, but I just have a few questions about kind of your Marvel origin story of your
Yeah,
life. So to start on
yeah.
a sweeter note, growing up in DC, I believe, what was
Mhm.
sort of your waltz into the arts, which I'll say because I think it might have been dance was like
It
your entry
was
point. Okay.
dance. That was my entry point. So it wasn't a waltz, but it was more of a tendu and a shuffle step.
Oh, okay.
So it was, you know, when you're little, you take your ballet tap class. So it was dance. That was my introduction to the arts. And then I was always in arts camp, you know, where it be like arts and crafts or doing a dance class or doing a play, but I never like was an actress. Like that wasn't the thing that called me. It was dance and then film. I got my first camera when I was 9, and I
Mm.
started to be, you know, the little niece or the little cousin or the daughter with the camera just up in your face and doing things like that. And then I learned to edit, and I edited, you know, my family films or my sister's ballet recital or just little things like that.
So cool.
So
Would you pull
that
friends
was really
into it?
fun.
Because whenever I would have friends over
Yeah,
as a kid, it
yeah.
would turn into a short film shoot and they're kind of like, what?
Yeah, exactly. No, my friend Joyce, we would go over to her house and we would make these like crazy improv films where like they're probably in some basement somewhere. But we would do that like since elementary school, and then we would do it in high school, and it would just be really, really fun. So that was kind of my tip into the entertainment industry.
Mm. Well, I guess progressing forward a little bit, and it's always so much fun and kind of weird to research you in a way, but I've done it before because I've interviewed you and just be reminded how impressive you are. You know, I think you were sort of cast as a casting director, which is a corny way to put it, in college,
Yeah.
from what I read. Is that when
Yeah.
you discovered your love for casting?
Exactly. You know, my freshman year of film school, I went to NYU. My freshman year, a friend of mine, Emily Harold, wanted to make a film outside of the curriculum our freshman year. And she was very adamant on everybody having their own specific jobs. So, like, you were the producer, you only produced, you were the writer, you only wrote. And then we printed out a crew list, and she was the director. And the second to last thing was casting director. And because I had the dance background, I was like, well, I know what an audition is. So that means I know what a casting director is. I had no idea. I'd never heard of that term or that job, but because I knew of a little piece of it, that meant for me that I could do the bigger piece.
Yeah.
And while everyone was doing, you know, being the best writer or trying to be the best director, I was in the corner doing that thing, and that thing was casting. And nobody saw me as a threat, and they saw me as an asset. So they
Mm.
said, "Oh, you did that thing for that film. Can you do that thing for my film?" And I had this big binder full of headshots and resumes that I would just carry around with me, and I cast all through college.
So cool. Also, everyone at home, I'm going to encourage you to whip out a journal and just start writing down lines that Erica says because you said something just now that was like, I knew a little piece. And so there was the possibility I could do the whole puzzle, which I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
I need a
Yeah,
rip off calendar of you.
that's my that's the definition of my career. It's sort of just like, oh, especially if it's like a new genre that I haven't done. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I haven't cast an animated feature, but I've cast a TV show, so that means I can cast an animated feature, and that's
Mm.
what kind of happened. So yeah, I always talk about, you know, you can't necessarily stand in your way. There are going to be many other people that will stand in your way, but you can't be the one to stand in your way. You always have to be your own yes person.
Mm. Yeah. Coming from love, I think, over fear of not booking XYZ, which is, as an
Yeah.
actor, can be hard when, if you're lucky enough to have multiple auditions a week, you can have multiple
Yeah.
opportunities to choose love over fear and just choose your
There
love
we
for doing what
go.
you love to do. You
Let's
know,
talk about it.
yeah. Well, I do want to talk about something. I think you told me this story, and you've probably told it since. One of the times I first met you, I don't know why I remember this because most of the times that we were together, we were doing the upfronts at ABC, and it was like this fun
Yes.
backstage wild vibe. But I remember you
Yes.
telling this story about how you got started with John Ort, that I feel like is
Yes.
just really inspiring. So would you mind sort of recounting that to listeners and
Yeah.
refreshing me?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the definition of not standing in your way. So when I graduated college, I had already interned at NBC casting for a year, which was great because I got to see what studio network casting looked like with Jen and Trey, and then I
Mm,
also got to see what independent casting looks like with Jen, Katya, and Jessica because they were casting 30 Rock in house. So it was
mm.
really great, a best of both worlds. So I
Yeah.
had
And what
done a
year was
year.
that? Sorry to
That
interrupt you.
was no, that was 2011 to 2012.
I think
So that
we were there
was.
at the same time. I interned at
Oh, wait,
NBC
really?
when I
We
was
were
still
at
in
30 Rock
college
at the same
in
time?
2011. Yeah.
What a good time. 30
Access
Rockefeller
Hollywood,
Center.
baby. Okay.
Oh, wow. Come through. So yeah, getting off at 47 50th Street every Monday and Friday, because that's where I would be. So I did a year of that, and then I did 4 years of casting everybody's, shorts. So I had a casting resume, to say the least. And
Wow.
when I graduated from college, a friend of mine saw on our school's website that ABC was looking for a full-time, it was temporary, but a full-time paid internship in their casting department at ABC. And my friend Joe was like, Erica, you have to apply to this. But in big, bold letters, it said, do not apply unless you are a full time student. And I had
Mm,
just graduated, and I was a little different than I am now. I still follow rules, but I'm not necessarily afraid of, certain things. But I was very much of a rule follower, and I was afraid of getting in trouble.
yeah,
And
I
so I
get
was
that.
like, I can't apply. I can't apply. Like it says, I just graduated. What are you talking about? You're crazy. He was like, Erica, you have to apply. We went back and forth, and I applied. I just did it. I was scared, blankless. And a
Yeah.
couple of days later, I get a call from this guy named Vince, and he was like, "So, I see that you applied for the internship, but did you just graduated?" And I said, "Yes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." He's like, "Hold on one second." He puts me on the phone with John Ort, who at the time was the manager at ABC Casting. And John was like, "Well, you can't be an intern." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But do you want to be an assistant?"
Mm,
And that job wasn't posted anywhere. They knew someone that they were probably going to hire. But because of my resume, they saw something in me that fit better for this position. Again, that wasn't posted, that nobody knew about, than the position that I couldn't do technically.
mm.
So that's why I always say, like, if I was the one to stand in my own way, who knows what would have happened? But because I put myself out there and I applied to a job that maybe I shouldn't have, based on the fact that I just graduated, but you never know what's on the other side of the door. You never know, like as an actor, okay, if you go in for that EPA, if you go in for, something, or you submit that self tape that you feel like, I don't think I'm right for this, like, okay, you might not be, but a casting director is requesting your self tape. So they might see something in you that you don't see within yourself. And what is right, what is wrong, this whole
Yeah.
business is based off of opinion. And let's just say that
Yeah.
maybe, you don't fit in that episode, or you don't fit in that season, or you don't fit in whatever. That casting director is working on something else that you might fit. Or they
Mm.
might be a friends with someone else that, oh my God, you should see this person. I know you're working on this project. So you never know what's behind the table, and you never know what you don't know.
Yeah. I love that. Would you say it sort of like boils down to you for just following your gut in a way
Yeah.
too?
Yeah. We have the instincts, we have the gut,
Mm.
we have the little spidey senses that go off. I always say, like, if you're uncomfortable, like, if stranger danger, if you're like, I don't know about them people, like, then, like,
Yeah.
you run
Yeah.
away,
Hmm.
because there's
Run for the hills.
some crazy, run for the hills,
Yeah.
go away. But if you feel uncomfortable because you are afraid of failing, what does that mean?
Mm.
If you're afraid of not being perfect, that's something that I always have to fight myself on, because I am a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if I'm not going to be good at it, then, I might not try it. But it's like, what is good at something?
Yeah.
It's all so relative. So I just try to tell myself this is like, you got to just try. You got to show up. Showing up is 50% of the thing. And even if you're like, well, I am an actor, I'm not interested in, working on set, or I'm not interested in working on stage or whatever, you never know who's going to be on set with you. If a
Yeah.
friend's like, hey, I'm creating a short film, do you want to just come on by and be a PA, or come on and hold the boom mic or whatever? If you just say yes and you show up for the day, you never know who's going to be on set that is like, hey, do you want to do this thing? Or, hey, I heard that you're an actor, I have this project that you would be perfect for. You just
Yeah.
never know what other doors open when you walk through one of them.
Yes. Ooh, there's another one. Everybody, take a shot. No, write it down. Yeah. I feel that so
Pour yourself
deeply.
a drink.
Pour
Yeah.
yourself a drink. What are we drinking? I know I
What
should
are
have
we drinking?
a mug of tea, a throat coat. But I literally booked a small role in a film because I did social media for the production company. So it's sort of
There
what
we
you're speaking to.
go.
It's just building relationships, being a human, and
100%.
then, we all have each other to look out for. And I
Yeah.
love that like positive outlook you have because it's true. You never know where life's going to take you. And
Mhm.
why are we agreeing with these things in our brain when our brain's wrong about a million things a day? We have this narrator in
Yeah.
our mind who there's science behind this if I can geek out for a second behind
Please.
like
No,
the
this sounds
narrator.
interesting.
I read this book called The Science of Storytelling, and now I fully think I'm a scientist. So don't fact
Oh,
check
sure,
me,
sure,
y'all.
sure.
But
No.
we have this narrator in our brain who literally is making up reasons for why things happen, and then we believe it. And it's not
Mm,
necessarily the truth. The truth is in our
mhm.
hippocampus or something. I don't know the terms actually. Hippocampus is probably not the right term, but
That
it's
sounds
somewhere
great.
thank you, in our brain that we can't access. So there's a lot of
Sure.
experiments behind it. It sort of goes back to what you're saying, which is just why not believe the good thing? Why not believe in yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I talk about this all this now we're just getting into like life, but like,
I
if
like
you're
it.
worried about if you're worried about something that you haven't even done yet, then you're gonna worry twice. It's like
Yes.
I'm worrying. And then you get there, you're gonna worry, 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 and then you're about to do the thing, you're gonna worry, worry, worry. It's like, why are you worrying? Just
Yeah.
like maybe, yeah, you could, if you jump off, you could fall, but maybe you could fly. It's always the
Mm,
maybe. You never know until you
I
get
love
there.
that.
So again, this is something that I try to, practice what you preach. This is very much of things that I wake
Yes.
up trying to tell myself every day. It's easier to say something to someone else than to say it to yourself. But yeah, I try to, push myself and see what else can happen. What else can happen?
Yes.